Oh, O Brahman, O the limitless, O the boundless, O the sense of self-awareness, O pure consciousness, O Paramatma, O eternity, O Chit, O Sakshi, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from fear to no fear, lead us in the path which has no doubt in ourselves. The most effective, the most effective weapon from the devil, the most effective weapon from the demons. Their weapon is they insert self-doubt. They try, not necessarily that they succeed. They try to insert self-doubt in us through a thought. Now, what is thought? Thought is everything that you have perceived. As you notice nowadays, I have frequented the messages from sacred. I have frequented the messages from divinity. Just about nearly every day, I am doing a retreat, and my main emphasis is on two things. If you look at my YouTube channel, I believe 137 videos by far. I mean, yesterday, 137 videos. Today, this, if we include this, is going to be, if we include this, is going to be 138. And there is tons and tons of there is tons and tons of the words of truth and wisdom. It would guide you when you feel overwhelmed with the carnation. It would help you. Just listen to the sound of my voice and defocus and disband, not band, but disband yourself. Disband yourself from your surroundings. Meditation may seem, my emphasis basically is on two things. I want to mention this first. All the wisdom in everything, just about any situation in our life or the major situation, I have given you tools. I have well equipped you, but practical is important. I'm doing one retreat just about every day and emphasizing my main emphasis. I am stressing out to you to perform some practical. Without practical, there is no result either, or there is very less result, if you understand. Without practical, there is no result, or there is very less result. When I started this channel on YouTube, I think it was the October. This is 2022. Okay. I think it was the October of 2020, if you understand. When I started the channel, it was October 1st of 2020. I remember that. And quite a few people prompted me to spread the words of truth and wisdom around through social media and through YouTube. You see, I'm telling you quite a bit of wisdom. Everything is connected with each other, so please pay attention. Listening is very important. After listening, whatever we have perceived or the knowledge we have gathered, it's on us that either we want to discard it or keep it. Just like that, I listen to. Listening is very important. A, without any expectation in return, listening is very important. And yesterday, excuse me, and quite a few people prompted me to start the channel, and I thought it's a brilliant a brilliant idea, a good idea, which manifests itself in positive things for yourself and for the rest of humankind, may come from somebody. You see, God is just not going to come down and whisper in your ear about the idea. Idea may come from somebody. That's how God manifests. God manifests through other beings. God manifests through other creatures. God manifests through the seasons, the weather, all these I mean, the nature. God manifests through the nature. If you go in the nature, you sit in the nature, you sit by the trees, on the grass. Make some time for that too. It would help you to balance your root chakra. Okay, if your root chakra is balanced, your life seems very easy because all the chakras are basically standing on the root chakra. Sometime barefoot, try, not that you hurt yourself, God forbid me, no, but try clean some ground where there is no any object. Clean some ground, but if it is the ground, some soil over there, some soft soil, try to walk on it for some time with barefoot. It would balance your root chakra. Along with that, sometimes sit on the grass or maybe on the mud, and if you are meditating, just sit. It would balance your root chakra. Once your root chakra is fine, once your root chakra is fine, once you have learned um, to let the consciousness or awareness run through the root chakra in your entire body. Root chakra is the lower of the backbone. This is where the God runs through in your body, which is consciousness or the sense of self-awareness, or um, consciousness, the sense of self-awareness, Chit, Sakshi. Sakshi means, do you know what Sakshi means? Is what my understanding of Sanskrit and Hindi. Sakshi is the witness. Sakshi is the silent witness. You know who silent witness is? Shh. Okay, anyway, do this. Try to make some time, because I want you to be balanced in your I want you to be balanced in the body. I want you to be aligned, that your body is aligned with the life energy and with your mind, which is thought. If you become aligned with the life energy, if you become aligned, um, if you become align with the life energy, your body and your mind, your thoughts, life becomes very easy. Even the bigger problem that you were worried before, it doesn't seem no big problems, and you can take charge, and you take charge of your life easily, you see. And that can only happen when you do practical. As I started this video, this message from Sacred, I mentioned practical is necessary. Without practical, there is either very less result of your well-being or clarity in your perception, or there is no result. Okay, one more thing regarding, because this message mostly is relevant to meditation and practical. So we are talking about a lot of things, but just be open to what I say. I know by now you have learned from me that do not discard the words and do not accept the words. There is a third option, you know. There is a third option that remain open. People become very rigid. It's either I would accept it or I would discard it. Remember when I use the metaphor of a rigid rubber band? You see, if you, excuse me, if you take a rigid rubber band and you uh, pull the rubber band and the elasticity, or the rubber band is not that flexible, it has lost its flexibility, it would break. But if you take a rubber band which has not lost its flexibility, excuse me, its flexil its flexation. Sometime English words, even though partially I was raised and educated in England, but sometimes some of the English words I find myself difficult to pronounce, specifically when I am in a state of meditation, which I am even right now. But you get the picture. That rubber band, it has more um, flexibility. That's it. That rubber band has more flexibility. So you pull the rubber band, it's not going to break. The one rubber band which does not have as much flexibility would break. You see, that's the difference. We are going to be hypothetically, we are going to be the rubber band which has more flexibility. You understand? We are going to be the rubber band which has more flexibility. Um, that we do not easily break, if you understand. And that can only happen again through Kriya meditation or the fundamental meditation, and just to be open towards what I say. Do not discard it. Do not accept it. Be flexible, be open. Just listen to the sound of my voice and just defocus from everywhere. One more thing that people ask me, since I'm a meditator and I teach them how to be happy, and also a yogi, but mostly meditation, working with the life energy, which is a brilliant thing. A common question that I get is, when we sit in the meditation, uh, there is just a compelling sensation that we want to look around, you see. Well, I will tell you this much, that if you look around, I hope you're understanding and following me. Just remember something, everything is out there to hook your attention. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you? Everything is, excuse me, everything is out there to hook your attention. Know that. The whole experience, this narrow band, you heard about the narrow band and you heard about the broadband, the narrow band, three-dimensional reality. This experience is being generated with objects and being and the sounds. The term we use in Sanskrit is nama, rupa, form, and shape. Is out there. Everything is out there to hook your attention. From objects to being to thoughts, everything is out there to hook your attention. Now, that is the first thing that you have to accept. The second thing, what you do, that you don't, during meditation, if you are a beginner or you have been doing it here with me since I started this channel in the October of 2020. If you have been doing it quite a while, you have some mastery on it. But if you are just starting, just remember something. Your five senses, your five senses of perception through which you perceive anything, your five senses of perception are outbound. One among these five senses is basically your sight, through which you see. Now, if you close during meditation, look, sit straight. I'm right now because I have been doing this meditation for last 2 hours. I just decided to show up because during the samadhi, I was given this awareness that I need to deliver this to make it easier. Um, Maybe the possible question which may arise, I can tell the answers here. So I am moving forward, leaning back, moving forward, not bending over, but moving forward, leaning back, because I have established myself in the meditation now. So I feel more comfortable. However, if you see time to time, my eyes are closed because if you look at people, not only me, but other people who perform meditation and stuff, if you look at them when they are meditating, like even Bruce Lee, who is an epic and would remain an epic, when he was alive, he performed meditation, if you understand what I mean. So, Bruce Lee, if you see his postures, just about like this, he's sitting, but his eyes are even closed. You see proper meditators and stuffs like that, their eyes are closed always. The reason, kitty, shh, shh, kitty, the reason they keep their eyes closed is they close at least one perception for the time being. Now, what it does basically during meditation, this is a tool I'm giving you. It would make your meditation very easy. The practice you would perform, it would make your meditation very easy. You would close your eyes and you would sit still. Now, one of the main perception through which you perceive for the time being is closed and you are sitting. You see, now mind is very compelling. When you close your eyes, usually what you have is your mind. It's a given for most people. For me, I've been doing it for such a long time, as you know that Kriya Yoga and meditation, as you know that Kriya Yoga and meditation is not something that I do to pass my time, if you understand. Kriya Yoga and meditation is not something that I do to pass my time. Kriya Yoga and meditation is a lifestyle for me. I still have to survive among humans, so I work just to get by and pay my bills and pay my fair share. When I am out there sometime along with other people, I pretend to be human. That's just a joke. Anyway, so the main thing is basically that when you come in the state of the point I'm trying to make, when you come in the state of meditation, now this time, regardless of the functioning in the society, that's why I gave the example of work and stuff, when you make time for yourself, the meditation, this is very important for you to know. You don't want to let your mind haywire. If you understand, you don't want to let your mind haywire. Mind, of course, most of us, for me, when I close my eyes, I don't witness mind for the most part. I wouldn't lie to you, sometimes it tries to make attempts on me, but for the most part, I do not witness mind. A person, and I congratulate them and I wish them all the best. A person who is just starting the meditation, they, as soon as they close their eyes, what they have is their mind, if you understand what I'm saying to you. And a thought would rise, a thought would subside. You cannot suppress the thought. If you understand, you cannot suppress the thought. I am sure that most of my audience and all of my audience are very in accord with English and very accustomed with English. So very tailored, and they have a good comprehension, I'm sure. So what happens is, um, a thought would rise and a thought would subside. You don't want to suppress the thought, if you understand what I'm saying to you. You don't want to suppress the thought. The more you suppress the thought, the more it would bounce back to you. It's just like the spring. You see the spring, not the season spring, but I'm talking about the equipment spring, the iron equipment. It is used to manufacture different type of other devices. When you push a spring basically against a surface, it goes down by bounce back. The more you are trying to push it, the more it would bounce back with the intensity. um, Isaac Newton, a British fella, his third law of motion also is critical in this moment in time that I would mention. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. You see? So if you perform the action, that's the point I'm trying to make. So follow me. If you perform the action um, to suppress the thought, the reaction would be it would bounce back with more intensity. It wouldn't leave you alone. These are all the tools and equipments that I'm giving you for an effective and sound meditation, which is the most important, which is the most dire, which is the most significant thing. You see, you can attach numerous titles of English to express that, but the thing is, meditation, the practical, is very significant. So I'm giving you the tools. You cannot suppress the thought. It would just keep coming back, keep coming back. The only thing that you can do is to transcend the thought. When you transcend the thought, you see, once you transcend the thought, uh, you understand that there you have more control during the meditation. Your mind wouldn't go haywire, as unfortunately more than half of my followers and my seers, the silent seers, the silent viewers, they experience and they write me time to time. So I tell them, close your eyes while you go in a state of meditation, and do not do what I am doing right now, because I have been in the state of meditation for last 3 hours. I have established myself without the mind. Even right now, I'm not using the mind until unless I have to. Sometime I do not like to use the human intellect. You see, it keeps me very light. I do not like to use the human intellect until unless it's a dire. It's very necessary. Then I pull a word from my vocabulary and I just express. Because for me, the most important thing is to express the transparency and the clarity through my words into your awareness. See? So I tell them, do not do this back and forth thing. Sit still. You are not bending over, you are not even, leaning forward or moving back. You are sitting still and you are closing your eyes. Your eyes are now closed. You are sitting still. Just watch me. And you are looking straight and your eyes are closed. Close your eyes. Mind would thought or mind, same thing. Thought would rise, thought would subside, thought would rise, thought would subside, thought would rise, thought would subside. It's okay. It's fine. Don't go with the thought. Have control on yourself. You see, create control on yourself. No matter who you are, my loved ones, remember something. I love you. I always have loved you, and I always will, regardless of, no matter who you are, regardless of your gender, regardless of your culture, regardless of your color. These things are abstract. I do not subscribe no significance to these things. they have created a lot of distance among humans. However, the point I'm trying to make, I always love you. So, and the reason because I love you, no matter who you are, my seers, my followers, my viewers, if you are serious enough to take at least some charge in your life so you can get close to the light or the truth when we shed our body or the bodily demise, just become a little serious, become a little more serious, become a little more practical with yourself. You see, um, I do not know for how long I would be around. I've been mentioning um, quite, I'm delivering the messages, emphasis on meditation, Kriya meditation, emphasis on practical. And I'm delivering the message just about every day, if you have noticed that. I want to make sure I have covered all the bases. Maybe that is the reason the Paramatma, the Sakshi, the Brahma is giving me a little more time. You understand? I am not physically sick. I'm in a perfect health. Um, and but nothing is certain. As a matter of fact, if we look through the eyes of truth, none of us knows then when somebody is going to pass on, isn't it? I mean, it could be next moment. A yogi and a meditator, when they have the only distinction a yogi and a meditator has, that they have been rising their life energy very high. Nothing superstitious is happening, nothing superfictional is happening. This is how nature works. You become more clear so you can see things. Then, more than an average person, you can see things. So that has happened to me. You see what I'm saying? I can see things, I can sense things. And anyway, this retreat is not about me. Without going into too much detail, what I feel and how I feel in any given moment, according to Bhagavad-Gita, and Bhagavad-Gita is the most liberating and the most wise book in on the face of this planet. According to Bhagavad-Gita, and not only according to Bhagavad-Gita, is totally practical. Everything that you do, it's your basic fundamental experience, which is essentially an Upanishad. You know what Upanishad is? Take a look. Yeah. Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita essentially is an Upanishad. It's the most powerful secret. It was a secret before thousands and thousands of years back, quite a few centuries back. This knowledge, some of the keepers, some of the guardian of this knowledge, they were reluctant to give it to an average person. But that is not right, no matter even if it was in ancient India. I always say the truth. That is not right. Now, this knowledge, this wisdom is available to an average human. And I love that because we, the yogi, the meditators, the sannyasis, the rishis, we want to see people are liberated, you see. So in Upanishad, you see, I bend. Have you heard the term bend? I'm sure you have. So I bend, I deviate from the topic, but I'm focused. If you pay attention, I get back to the topic. Sometime I detail the topic, you see, based on what I am perceiving nowadays. I want to make sure that I cover everything. So in Upanishad, what happens basically, when you maintain certain postures of your physicality. Are you understanding? When you maintain certain postures, when you maintain certain postures of your physicality, what is your physicality? Your body. You see, sometimes I cannot help use a very profound or very thick vocabulary because I went to university back in Britain, in England, and I undertook the course and did all that. So we had to research, and my mind was very fertile. Anytime I would read something, it would just sit right in, you see. Anyway, so what happens is when you maintain certain postures, physical postures of your body, one of them is meditation, very fundamental. You sit straight and you rest, every nerve, every inch of your body is resting, and you are just gently paying focus to your breathing. That's all you gotta do. Close your eyes during the process so your attention wouldn't be hooked. Even this fundamental, but Upanishad, Bhagavad-Gita states and gives you detail that the body, for somebody like me who is totally dedicated, just like a monk, who is totally dedicated to his practice, totally devoted. I mean, it's a craze in me. No, and also I know my mission on earth, and through meditation and teaching meditation, I'm trying to achieve that mission. Because the more my mission is basically to bring transparency and clarity in your perception. Anyway, so in Bhagavad Gita, it is written in detail. If you can get your hands on the English version, that through certain spiritual practices you perform every day for years and years, the prana, which is the essentially life energy, which is right now moving me, and it's the same. There is no barrier. You understand the term barrier? There is no barrier in prana. Energy does not have any barrier until unless you want to confine it through physical means. You know that. Energy is all over, you see. For me, I can see the energy floating through my naked eye. If I sit and more than a few seconds, if I focus, I see that how the life prana is around, supporting my body and supporting your body. I have come to that stage. So what happens is basically your life energy has risen so high. Your life energy has risen so high that your body cannot contain it. You understand why I'm saying to you? You can test that. You can test that. It's very easy. It's a very generic meditation technique that you can test that. Shh. Shh. Cats, come on. Daddy's talking. Okay. So you can test that. So what happens is when you sit and you close your eyes and you gently bring your focus and attention you see, like just like this, when you are in a state of meditation and you gently bring your focus to your breathing, you are breathing life in, you're breathing life out. Now when you become used to of this practice, what happens after a certain time, when you have been doing it for weeks or months, you gently pay attention when you are breathing out the life. You see, there is a pressure. You can feel the pressure develops. Both ears, the pressure develops, the nostrils, and to the mouth. But very pressure develops all over the head. But these are the points on the head that you can feel the pressure, mostly ears. For me, the pressure is tremendous. When I breathe out, I am very alert and very aware of that breathing because the pressure has become tremendous in my head. When anyone, we all have to go through this process. It's the course of the nature, you see. When one sheds the body or bodily demise, I am reluctant to use the word death because there is no death. when one when the time comes, usually the Atman, the prana takes a little while, but the Atman, what you want to say, it's soul, or uh, what you want to say, it's soul, or the separate self, the Atman, the soul, um, the individual. You see, the soul basically. It usually exits either through the ears. Sometime it goes through your mouth. Sometime it goes through our eyes. You see. So for me, when I basically breathing out during meditation, the pressure of this energy is tremendous in my head. You see, that's one of the indications. It's just tremendous, like it would explode my ears and it would just go out. So nothing is happening, basically, superstitious, or I'm not some, I, it's not that I'm a Superman or I have gained some kind of powers. Every human being, including yourself, my seers, my followers, every human being basically every human being basically is perfectly capable of it. You see, to raise their life energy. Sometimes people get aware of it and they try to slow down the process. For me, I know my previous lifetimes, I know what I was. We would not go into it. And I was a very spiritual dedicator also. So I am evolving, you see, and I'm now here. So a person who has been in concern with their spiritual growth throughout numerous lifetimes, that's how I would phrase it. A person who has been dedicated towards their practice throughout the numerous lifetimes cannot just get back now. You see, it becomes the part of this person's tendency. That person cannot stop it. It is as inevitable and as natural for this person as you are breathing or your heart is beating. It's very simple. You see, it becomes a part of my tendency. So it has become. So the life energy has risen up very high. What happens is when that happens, the body, which we understand the accumulation, the body, this is my body, you have yours, and all that. The body cannot sustain the life energy, the prana. The body cannot sustain the life energy in the body. The body becomes weak. Now, if you look at me, you would say, oh, he looks fine to me. He doesn't look weak or anything. which I'm very which I'm very thankful. And yes, it looks fine, but feeble in the sense that compared to the life energy, you understand? If you look at me, I look fine, but compare, I hope you're understanding what I'm saying to you. It's very significant. But compared to the level the life energy has risen, it becomes feeble. It cannot sustain the life energy. Now life has to move on. You see, so it does. Um, so this is what happens. Until unless what happens, some people, there are still people, and there were, I would give you an example. There are still people, not very easy to find, by the way. But even here, we live in America, you know, and even in America here, when I teach some people or I'm doing one-to-one online retreat, or I am meeting people outside, every now and then I come across to a person whose life energies are very high, you see, and but they cannot be found. These type of folks, these type of people cannot be found very easily. But I run into people like that every now and then. So I'll give you an example. If you play some of my previous retreats, mostly nowadays we are here in our hall, but sometime I do a background with the picture of my mentor and my guru, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. You see, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was in British Raj. Have you heard of that? British Raj. British were actually ruling over on Indian subcontinent, India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. It was all Indian subcontinent, Bangladesh. So Indian subcontinent they were ruling over. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was one man in the British Raj, you see. And you see the picture, he's my guru, and he's guarding on me. And you see the picture of him, sometime I do pranam, but he's always right on the top here, if you watch some of my retreats. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a Hindu. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was a Hindu mystic and a saint. You understand what I'm saying to you? This guy cannot be explained in words. There are no words that you can, what the word I'm looking for, there are no words that you can gauge. That's the word. There are no words that you can gauge this guy, this man, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. If you met him on the street, or if you witnessed him on the street, you would say, probably this man is crazy. You understand? But actually, it's you who is crazy. That man has transcended what you are going through. When you meet an enlightened person, when you meet a totally transparent, transcendent person, you cannot comprehend through the thinking mind, because this person may perform activities that you think this person is crazy. But for that person, you, me, us, anyone cannot even hold a candle as far as the magnitude of his wisdom and energy. So without going into too much detail, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa was brilliant being. He was just marvelous, remarkable. And we will wrap it up soon. As you heard, the time for me for a private session, but we will wrap it soon. I'll just give you an example of Ramakrishna. It would make a difference. So Ramakrishna Paramahansa basically was enlightened already. There is no doubt in my mind about that. He was enlightened. When you become enlightened, when you have achieved moksha, please pay attention to what I'm saying. It's also relevant. When you have achieved moksha, mukti, ultimate freedom, or salvation, if you're a religious person, which is fine, there is no problem. You can maintain your religion and spirituality together too. You see, in Islam, we have a sector, it is called Sufism. Brilliant wisdom there too, just so you know. Brilliant wisdom, Sufism. So, as I said, Rumi, I mentioned Rumi. Rumi said, no matter what path you follow, as long as it is getting you in touch with the truth. Maulana Rumi, or Rumi the Beautiful, he was also a mystic, enlightened too, by the way. The magnitude of his wisdom was unbelievable. So Rumi said very clearly, no matter what path you choose, as long as you are getting in touch with truth, that's the right path. And it's extremely potent statement if you understand what he said. Anyway, Ramakrishna Paramahansa was enlightened being. Enlightened being comes on planet and takes the form only. Now the being is out of the circle of birth. Have you heard the term birth? Have you given birth? Have you heard the term birth? Have you given birth? Intention. It doesn't matter. I'm saying everything for a reason. Intention. Understand that intention is the birth Again, talking about the birth. That's why. Intention is the birth of creation. You see, intention is the birth of creation from self awareness. Then it passes on to the children of self awareness or the children of God. We all as humans have the tendencies of God. That's why we humans also can give birth, because self awareness intended and gave birth to the creation. Now you see the connection. Anyway, so the cycle, there is a cycle which we understand in our yogic culture and in Sanskrit is called samsara. Samsara is the cycle of birth. You see, excuse me. Samsara is the cycle of birth and death. You see, the karma is there, you are in samsara. It's a given. The cycle of birth and death. What happens is when you have shed all the karma, you become the part of the light, which is God, which is the first manifestation of God. I want to say, not God itself. Light is not God. People say, they tell me all the time about their near-death experiences and stuff like that. Light is not God itself. Light is the first manifestation of God. So once you become enlightened, just like Rumi or Sri Ramakrishna, what happens is now you have an option. You see, before you didn't have the option because you had karma attached with you, if you understand what I'm saying to you. Before, you didn't have the option because you had karma attached with you. Now you have shed the karma. Now it's volunteer. If you wanted to volunteer out of the compassion, if the dharma of humanity is coming down as Lord Krishna, now mind you, this time I'm talking about Lord Krishna, not Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya. They are two separate people, so don't confuse them. I'm talking about the Lord Krishna, which is a deity in Hinduism. It's an avatar of consciousness. You see, in human form, Lord Krishna was an avatar of God in human form. So he tells Arjuna, you see, in Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavad-Gita itself is a dialogue between Arjuna and Krishna, Lord Krishna or Sri Krishna. He tells Arjuna that when the dharma, he tells Arjuna, Prince, you see, when the dharma or dharma of humanity is down, I put on the human body and I jump into the human form to bring the dharma or dharma of humanity up. That's what Lord Krishna or Sri Krishna said. Anyway, so that's what Sri Ramakrishna, now I'm talking about again, about Sri Ramakrishna. That's what Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya did. Out of compassion, he volunteered himself to come as a human. But remember something, he was already enlightened, you see. He had shed all the karma. Now, this person, such a person, is the magnitude of his presence. You cannot imagine the magnitude of the presence of such a person. If he was in the vicinity till 2 miles, literally 2 miles or 3 miles, people could feel his presence. You understand what I'm saying to you or no? For 2 or 3 miles, people could feel his presence, that Ramakrishna Paramansaya is somewhere. You see? So, of course, his level of energy was so high that since he was a mystic and a saint. He had a mastery, a certain level of mastery on his body. You understand what I'm saying to you? So what happens when your prana and due through the dedication to your practice, your energy, as I mentioned a few minutes back, has risen so high. Your energy has risen so high that your body cannot contain. You see, your body cannot sustain, or your body cannot contain the life energy. See, I mentioned it a few minutes ago. So that the case he had. Now, most people, what happens is the moment of the enlightenment, the final enlightenment, after that you become the part of the light. The moment, I would give you another example of such a fellow. The moment of enlightenment and the moment of leaving the body, you understand, is the same for most people. You heard of John Lennon, the Beatles. Lennon um, also enlightened. Lennon was enlightened. You see, his life energy was very high. He was a beautiful being, John Lennon. His wisdom, the magnitude of his wisdom was immense. Uh, he's another example. For most people, because most people don't have that mastery on their body, for most people, the they cannot they cannot be contained in the body. It because what they feel at any given moment cannot be explained. You can only experience the feeling. If you understand or you don't, the the way they feel in any given moment is, you cannot explain that. And it's just like you have become the part of the God in the human form. You are experiencing God every second, not even with its intensity. Otherwise, God knows what would happen. Now you are experiencing God. So what happens is, because sometime when I am in a samadhi, this happens to me too, but somehow I am able to get back. If I didn't get back, I would leave the body too. It happens to me. I have experienced the feeling. I wouldn't tell you otherwise. I know that what it feels like. It is just like that you are the part of everything and you are the part of nothing. It's a little confusing for you to understand, but you would get around it, I'm sure. That you are the part of everything and you are the part of nothing. This state is, you cannot tell the difference who is you and who is another person, or who is chair, excuse me, or what is chair, or what is a cat, or a table, a door, a window. Everything is, all you feel is the moment. You have no awareness of the body or your thoughts. Thought does not play any role now. Thought is gone. It's history. That's how it feels. And it is, you become static. That's the other word. You become static. Ecstasy. The ecstasy is so extreme that you, anyway, it can, as I said, it cannot be explained in words. It's very difficult for me. I tried anyway. Uh, you can achieve that state through your dedication to your practice, to your Kriya meditation mostly. Kriya is the best one. You see, Swami Yoga Ananda always stressed about Kriya meditation, the beautiful yogi. Um, so that's how he was feeling at all the time. Sri Ramakrishna Paramansaya. You see, that's how he was feeling all the time. That he was the moment. He didn't have no awareness of his own body, or there was no thought. That's how he was feeling all the time. All the time. So what happens is, but he had mastery on his body. You understand? Because he wanted to find people who would carry on his message, which is my message too. We all have the same message. Yogis, sannyasis, meditators, we all have the same message. So he actually got obsessed with the food. He consciously raised a desire in him that I create a fondness towards the food. You see, something that I can relate to this world. Otherwise, it's not possible. So, and then after a certain time, when he realized he has done his job, he very gently, in 3 days, he had throat cancer, by the way. If you look him up, you would find that he died of throat cancer. But you know, that was just a reason or excuse. What was happening was basically in 3 days, he was such a remarkable mystic that he withdrew consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? This is powerful. He withdrew consciousness step by step from his body. You know that? In 3 days. And third day, he passed on. That's what the immensity of being human. We always say, oh, I cannot do that. I'm only a human. Like it's a limitation or it's a punishment. No. We say, oh, I cannot do that. I'm only a human. We are expressing being human. Yesterday in the message, I said being human is a limitless possibility. Being human is a tremendous possibility. Being human means limitless. You say, I'm only a human, always complaining. How can I do that? Yeah, the reason you are saying and complaining just about anything, because you have not tapped on what yogis and the meditators have tapped. Because if you did that, then you would understand being human is limitless. You see. So please pay attention, focus, rewatch this video because this video has become long. But the things I have mentioned in this video regarding meditation practical is very significant. Okay, because without practical, there is either very less result. There may be some result. I'm not going to altogether deny it. There may be some good result, but it would be very less. And if you want to expedite your well-being, if you want to expedite the process of getting in touch with truth, then practical is a must. That's what is the gist of this message. Do practical, close your eyes if your attention is being hooked during meditation for some time, and gently focus on your breathing. Okay, so messages are important. Two things, the main emphasis: do practical, do Kriya meditation. O Brahman, O the Sakshi, O Paramatma, O Brahman, O the limitless, O the omniscient, O the omnipresent. Now lead this Atman in the path as what is left and what is expected from this Atman. O limitless, lead this Atman in the path that what is left and what is expected from this Atman.